bottles in this bitch, 100 models in this bitch. We gon' party like we won the fucking lotto in this bitch. Living reckless, yeah, we know your crew can't hang. We in the section, throwing up them hundreds like it's change. SIMBA, back at it, I'm down in the fifth. I bought the whole shit, making moves, I'm out of the trench. Got out of LA, West Coast, where I represent. It's me, SimbaTv. Bang! What is good, YouTube fam? It's your boy Simba coming back here again with another reaction video for you guys today. For today's reaction video, we got Family Guy theories so crazy that they might be true, man. If you guys are not yet subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. Become part of the notification. Gang, 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 gang. We're bringing new videos to you every single day. So without further ado, let's jump up in it.
Family Guy is one of the most popular television shows in the world, so it's no surprise that people like to talk about it. Any other popular franchise, a lot of that talk centers around the conception of theories related to the characters and stories within the show. In this video, we'll take you through some of the more interesting ones that fans have come up with. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It's the best way of keeping up to date with all of Screen Rant's great new videos.
Let's make this quick.
It's no secret that Family Guy creator Seth MacFarlane voices a number of characters on the show. Brian the dog is one of them, and this theory suggests that Brian has been writing the show all along. The theory stems from the fact that MacFarlane barely changes his voice to play the character, as well as the fact that MacFarlane and Brian's views on subjects like politics and religion are the same. Brian is the smartest character in the show and gets to date a string of beautiful women, in spite of the fact that he's not even human, so it makes sense that he would write himself that way. It would also explain the endless cutaway scenes, because Brian's still a dog and has the attention span you'd expect of a canine. Based on the relation—
Low key? That one makes a lot of sense. That one makes a lot of sense, yo. Like, if you think about it, like, the cutscenes, like he said with the cutscenes, Brian has the attention span of a dog because he's a dog. So that would make sense why they always cut in and out. Now that's something to think about.
So it makes sense that he would write himself that way. It would also explain the endless cutaway scenes, because Brian's still a dog and has the attention span you'd expect of a canine. Based on the relationships of the characters they voice, there's a theory that Seth MacFarlane secretly has a crush on Alex Borstein. When you consider that MacFarlane voices Brian, Peter, Quagmire, and Stewie, the fact that all of those characters are obsessed with Borstein's character Lois in one way or another certainly raises eyebrows. Ultimately, the theory suggests that the dynamics in the show are the manifestation of MacFarlane's feelings for Borstein in real life. When Stewie traveled with his future self, Stu, into the future in Stu and Stewie's Excellent Adventure, he met a very different version of Meg, as she'd undergone sex reassignment surgery and changed her name to Ron. There's a theory that Ron will actually become a permanent character on Family Guy at some point during its run, allowing Mila Kunis to leave the show. Fox probably wouldn't mind cutting her gigantic salary anyways. Peter Griffin's spending in Family Guy is crazy, and some of the things he's been able to afford, the Peter Copter and the Peterang for example, just aren't consistent with a dumb guy in a menial job. This theory suggests that ever since season 2 of the show, Stewie has been making bank as a Calvin Klein model, and that's what's funding Peter's extravagance. The Griffins have been rich ever since Stewie started modeling in A Picture is Worth $1,000. It makes a whole lot of sense. In spite of the fact we know the intimate secrets of countless Family Guy characters, we still have no explanation regarding why Brian can talk. There is, however, a theory that he's smarter than your average dog because he was once a human who had his brain inserted into a canine body by the CIA. Don't forget, Family Guy is set in the same universe as American Dad, and on American Dad, the talking goldfish Klaus is actually a German athlete who had his brain swapped with a fish by the CIA.
One, I did not know they were in the same universe. Two, dang! That would make a lot of sense. Brian had his own life before his brain got put into a dog. Wow.
It is therefore entirely plausible that all of the intelligent animal characters in Seth MacFarlane's shared animated universe are the product of illegal experimentation by the CIA, including Brian Griffin. Some people have theorized Family Guy is a TV show within a TV show, but there are actually competing theories in relation to it. Some fans argue that Family Guy is a TV show within American Dad, and others argue the reverse, while others believe they're TV shows within each other, which is just kind of trippy. Some people think that Family Guy has always been a TV show within a TV show, but American Dad became one over time. The best evidence is an American Dad episode where Stan lists his favorite fictional dogs, one of whom is Brian Griffin. And there's a Family Guy episode in which the audience gets a behind-the-scenes look at what the actors who play the Griffins go through to film the show. There's also a scene in American Dad where they cut filming to celebrate their 1000th vagina joke, revealing a set and production crew. Could it be that Joe Swanson was the superhero known as the Tick before he became the Griffin's neighbor in Family Guy? There's a theory that suggests so. In fact, there's a sub-theory that he still is the Tick and that the suit cures his paralysis while he wears it. Joe has the same huge upper body and prominent chin that the Tick has, so it makes sense aesthetically. Then, of course, there's also the fact that Patrick Warburton, who voices Joe, played the Tick in the 2001 live-action show. It's a fun idea, if nothing else. The episode Meet the Quagmires revolved around Peter going back in time and causing himself to end up with Molly Ringwald instead of Lois. The episode featured a joke that many fans have theorized was a prediction of Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia's death. In the episode, Death announced that Dick Cheney had shot Scalia in a hunting accident, and a few years later, Scalia died after a hunting trip. Although he died of natural causes while on the trip, some fans of the series still suspect somehow Family Guy was able to predict his death. Family Guy has gradually become darker and darker since around season 8, and there's a very convincing theory as to why that might be the case. In that 8th season, several characters' demeanors start changing. Quagmire went from mere perverted comic relief to having more fleshed out relationships, and Brian began to entertain the idea of suicide, for example. And in each character's case, it's because of their haunting experiences, such as Quagmire's sister being mercilessly beaten by her abusive boyfriend, and Brian being outed as a poor writer. The community of tragic souls in the show essentially fleshes out over time until fans are left with a dark, dysfunctional reality. In 2015, Caitlyn Jenner came out as a trans woman, having previously been Bruce Jenner, a men's Olympic gold medalist. Her transition was a surprise to some, but not necessarily to Family Guy fans. The series made several jokes that now seem like strange coincidence, such as Stewie calling Jenner an elegant, beautiful Dutch woman. In another episode, a cutaway gag showed Jenner performing a burlesque dance for the Navy. At the time, they were joking about the fact that Bruce Jenner's wife, Chris, wore the pants in the family, but the theory is that Family Guy predicted Bruce's transition.
Bro, The Simpsons, they predict a lot of stuff, and now Family Guy too. You know, when you're making jokes and stuff like that, when you put it to the universe, you know, the universe takes that, you know, and it pushes that out. You feel me? It makes it come true, which is why I'm so careful of what I put into the universe, what I say, what I do. Because you never want those jokes to come to light. And that's what it sounds like happened. Sounds like The Simpsons and Family Guy, they're able to predict because they put the jokes out there and it just comes to light. It just becomes real. That's crazy.
There's a very convincing theory that suggests Meg could be Stewie's mother, not his older sister, and that Lois and Brian conspired to hide the teenager's pregnancy. Peter and Chris are far too stupid to figure it out, so it's not completely out of the question. Or at least it wasn't until the Yug Lemaf episode, when Stewie's broken time machine caused time to flow in reverse, and the baby is unborn, getting sucked back inside Lois. Then again, given that Family Guy's continuity is all kinds of messed up, it's still a possibility. The episode Brian and Stewie led some fans to theorize that Seth MacFarlane was actually trying to make a terrible episode of Family Guy. It saw Brian and Stewie locked in a bank vault over a weekend, revealing new information to each other and confronting feelings about themselves. It featured none of the hallmarks of the series, so there was no opening theme song and no cutaway gags, for example. The theory suggests that MacFarlane was frustrated with Fox, so he purposefully made a terrible episode. Rumor has it that he was going through depression at the time and was so fed up that he did everything he could to make a bad episode that nobody would like.
That's crazy, for one, because I thought the episode was really good. So if that is the case where he tried to make a bad episode, it still turned out really good. Everything this man touches fucking is gold.
You know how Meg is often the butt of the Griffin family jokes and how she's generally treated bad by all of them? There's a theory that suggests it's because she's adopted. There have been flashback scenes of both Chris and Stewie's birth, but none of Meg's, so it does make sense on that level. There are also photos of Chris as a baby, but none of Meg. Maybe she didn't arrive in the Griffin family household until she was a little older? There's a theory doing the rounds that Lois is gearing up to end her marriage with Peter. It's based on her character development over time, which points to an increasing number of instances where she shows marital displeasure. This, coupled with the increasingly serialized consequential nature of the show, for example when Brian died and didn't appear for a while, supports the theory that Lois may very well divorce Peter in the near future. One theory suggests Peter and Lois are related, and there's some serious justification to believe it's true. In the episode where Peter found out he had black ancestry, it was revealed that his great-great-great-great-great-grandfather was a slave owned by the Pewterschmidt family. At the end of the episode, Peter spoke to his ancestor's ghost, who explained he slept with his owner's wife, who was Lois's great-great-great-great-grandmother. There's also the fact that Lois's dad, Carter, hates the Griffin family and tries very hard to stop any relationship between Peter and Lois from happening. This theory suggests that's because they're related. There's a very interesting theory regarding why the first 3 seasons of Family Guy are bad and weird, and why the characters are different from the rest of the series after it came back from being canceled. It's the theory that pre-cancellation Family Guy and post-cancellation Family Guy take place in 2 different universes. Meg, for example, is loved by her parents pre-cancellation, and in the time travel episode Back to the Pilot, Stewie and Brian go back to the pilot episode and claim they didn't time travel, they actually went to a parallel universe. It certainly makes sense, but there's a simple counter-argument that suggests the writers had to change everything about the show because it wasn't very good, hence the cancellation. There's a theory about Brian that suggests his substance abuse issues are reflected in the apparent de-evolution of his character. And there's no doubt that there's a compelling argument that over time, Brian's alcoholism has morphed his character just as the disease does to its victims in real life. Brian definitely seems to be getting dumber over time, and it's likely because the alcohol he so regularly drinks and the drugs he occasionally uses are having a degenerative effect on his brain. If that's the case, could Seth MacFarlane be trying to send out a subliminal warning of the dangers of substance abuse? Maybe. This one's less of a theory and more of a definitive conclusion fans have come to based on a number of comments and cutaway scenes from the show itself, and it's the idea the Griffins have had a number of other children who have passed away. Peter, for example, has explicitly stated they had a son who died, and even though it's in a gag, it doesn't change the fact he said it. It's also been suggested Meg has killed her younger sister, which means there may have been at least 2 other Griffin siblings. As we mentioned earlier, it's an established fact that American Dad takes place in the same universe as Family Guy. It's also established that Family Guy's little Susie Swanson's inner monologue is voiced by Patrick Stewart, who also voices American Dad's Avery Bullock. This theory suggests the 2 characters are one and the same, sort of. In American Dad, the CIA has a device that allows a person to remotely control an avatar of any shape or size, and in Virtual Insanity, Bullock does indeed have an avatar who just so happens to be a baby. Susie is therefore theorized to be one of Bullock's avatars. The iconic Robin Williams tragically committed suicide in 2014. 2 years earlier, Family Guy aired an episode that made fans theorize that the show predicted his death. Family Guy viewer mail number 2 had a segment in which Peter discovered everything he touched turned into Robin Williams. He became so annoyed and irritated by Williams showing up, he attempted to kill himself several times. It's an eerie coincidence the episode had both Robin Williams and suicide as themes. What's even more eerie is that BBC 3 aired the episode in the UK just moments before Williams' death was announced.
Wow.
On September 11, 2001, Seth MacFarlane was scheduled to depart from Boston on American Airlines Flight 11. 15 minutes after the plane took off, it was hijacked and flown into the North Tower of the World Trade Center. Seth was supposed to be on board, but a hangover and a mix-up regarding his departure time meant he arrived 10 minutes too late. Many fans of the series theorized he used the experience as inspiration for the direct-to-video film Stewie Griffin: The Untold Story, which they believe is a 9/11 allegory. Stewie had a near-death experience in the episode and later realized he must go back in time to prevent that from happening in order to fix future events. Moreover, Stewie's future address in the episode is 1109, and after averting death, he remarked, "Yes, I did it. I stopped the tower from falling." Speaking of Stewie, there's a theory that Family Guy takes place completely in the little guy's head, or more specifically, it's his perception of the world and how he tries to understand it from his limited knowledge. The shenanigans of the show are, therefore, extremely exaggerated because it's all from a baby's perspective. The most compelling part of the argument supporting this theory is Brian has the ability to talk due to the fact that Stewie simply sees the dog as a member of the family, the others of whom could, of course, talk. There's a theory that suggests Family Guy somehow predicted the tragic 2013 death of actor Paul Walker in a car accident. At the time of his death, several conspiracy theories popped up but were quickly shot down. But the Family Guy episode Life of Brian seemed to eerily foreshadow it, especially when Brian was killed by a car. The episode aired just 6 days before Walker died, and the theory suggests that because Walker's name was Brian in the Fast and the Furious movies, that it was a prediction and Family Guy's writers were somehow aware of Walker's impending death.
That's a stretch, man. That one's a big stretch, okay? Big stretch. I mean, I can see like why people can think that, but that one's like, you're reaching, and you're reaching hard, okay?
The episode Turban Cowboy had 2 unrelated scenes that caused a considerable amount of controversy and led fans to theorize Family Guy had predicted the Boston bombings. In a cutaway gag, Peter was shown winning the Boston Marathon by mowing down the runners in his car. Later, Peter used a cell phone to accidentally set off a series of bombs. The episode aired roughly 1 month before the bombings occurred. The situation became even more controversial when someone edited the 2 scenes to make it seem like they were connected and furthered the theory that Family Guy predicted the event. However, Seth MacFarlane denounced it and called it abhorrent, and the episode has since been removed from airing. The final theory that we're including here is that Family Guy actually all happens in Peter's head. It's based on the fact that the entire Griffin family have been able to get up to all sorts of hijinks, ranging from the paranormal and societal to the unspeakably expensive and downright illegal, all without any kind of repercussions. Why isn't Meg seriously mentally scarred? Why hasn't Peter bankrupted the family? Why isn't Stewie in a school for naughty children? Well, it's all because none of what we're seeing is actually happening. It's all simply taking place in the Griffin family patriarch's mind as a way of escaping his mundane life.
Now that's what I call a curveball. Commercial!
And that's the...
Okay, so these theories are fun to think about. Like I said, man, a lot of them seem kind of like a reach, you know, seem kind of like way far-fetched, but some of them really do make sense, man. How did you guys feel about this video? If you guys like this video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button for me. Thank you guys for commenting, sharing, and subscribing, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.